Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be reviewing the movie Stars and Blue, currently showing on Road Kadiri 247 TV, starring our amazing actors Sonia, Uche and Deza the Great as the main actors and others. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell to get more movie reviews from me. Thank you. Amara was a businesswoman who owned a boutique. She lived with her supposed sister Kadi, who she loved and adored so much. She loved, adored and protected Kadi so much that she would never allow any hurt come to her, no matter who it was coming from. But the strange thing is that Kadi calls Amara mommy. I wonder why, but we are going to find out. Amara's boyfriend made advances at Kadi one day, and Kadi slapped him, telling him that it was just a piece of shit that didn't deserve Amara. He threatened her that he was going to tell Amara that she tried to make advances at him, and Amara was going to throw her out because she tried to seduce a man. Kadi laughed and said that was never going to be possible. He went to Amara's boutique and reported, just as he has threatened, that Kadi, her sister, tried to seduce him, but he said no. Amara immediately called her to come to the boutique immediately. When she got there, Amara asked her if she was okay and asked her what transpired. And Kadi told her what actually happened. She turned to her so-called boyfriend, took her house keys from him and told him never to show his face to them again, which surprised him because he thought she was going to take his side. Jude, on the other hand, was a man who did not believe in love or marriage, but his father wants him to desperately get married, and Jude was solely opposed to it. He was taking his sister out to shopping that day when his father reminded him again about him having to get married, but he still opposed to it, saying he wasn't interested in being a family man or anybody's husband. He just wanted a woman to have kids for him. When they got to the car, his sister Cindy told him that their father was actually dying and had 6 months before his surgery, which was a 50-50 chance because they didn't know if he was going to live after the surgery or die after the surgery. So his plan probably was to see his children get married before he died. Jude felt bad and immediately took his phone and called any of his exes who was ready to have a date with him that evening, even though he did not believe in love or marriage. They got to Amara's boutique and Kadi guided Cindy to get whatsoever she wanted to get, while Amara offered Jude a seat. They got back from picking what Cindy wants, and Cindy saw her brother staring at Amara in a way that was so confusing. She nudged him to stop staring at her because it was so obvious and told him they had to go. On their way back, Jude started fantasizing about how he was going to marry Amara, even though he didn't get her contact. That made him, to the extent that he went back to her boutique to ask her out to lunch, which she hesitated but later agreed. They went out for lunch and he asked her if he could also see her tomorrow for dinner. They prepared for the dinner the next day, and Cindy told her brother that he was taking this thing too fast because he just met this girl. Jude came home jubilating that he was definitely going to marry Amara and was interrupted by his father, who was shocked because he heard his son talking about marriage, which he did not believe in, and asked who this girl was that had changed his mind. He reminded him about the company and how he wanted his son Jude to take over the company, and Jude was not ready to do that because he ran his own company and told his father to give the company to CD because he was not ready to run his father's company, but his father refused, saying that he wanted him and him alone to run his company. After much thinking about wanting to give his father what he wanted before he could possibly die after 6 months, he agreed to run the company, but he said he was going to run it from his own office. Amara and Jude got so close. He brought her lunch, they hung out together, and they even visited his place. Kadi had a word with Amara if she wasn't taking things too fast with Jude, and she said no, that she didn't feel that way since they were both having the connection and she was fine by it. 2 weeks later, when they were having dinner, Jude proposed to Amara and she surprisingly said yes, which Kadi felt it was too soon because it had just been 2 weeks and she was just getting to know this guy. But Amara told her not to worry, that everything would be fine. 2 months later, they set a date for the wedding and they got into the preparation of the wedding. They were going through her wedding dresses when Kadi asked Amara when she was actually going to tell Jude about the whole truth. Amara looked at Kadi and said she was going to tell him at the right time, but was definitely going to tell him before the wedding, and Kadi teased her that if she doesn't tell him, she would tell him. Oma came to visit Jude but was upstairs taking her phone when Sadie asked Jude when he was going to tell Oma about the truth about him not believing in love and marriage, and was only doing this because he wanted to grant his father's maybe last wish. He said there was no need to tell Oma and that he wasn't going to hurt her, and Oma happened to hear everything that they've been saying. She got upset and walked out of there, throwing his ring at him, and she went home to Cardi, telling her that she was right eventually. Jude followed her home and tried to talk to her, but she refused, and Cardi supported the motion and told him to get out. Jude gave her some space and came to her again apologizing, explaining that his view of marriage and love has changed because of her and was ready to go on with the wedding, but she still refused and told him to go. Cardi had a word with Oma if she wasn't in love with him again and was officially going to break off the wedding, but Oma said she was still in love with him but wasn't sure if he was going to accept her with her truth, the truth being that she wasn't Cardi's sister but Cardi's mother, and Cardi told her to go to his place to explain it to him. She got to Jude's place, and before she could even say anything, she cited Jude's father, called him a bastard and a monster, and stormed out of there. Jude was surprised at why Oma would come and call his father a bastard and a monster, and he followed her back to her place. He got to Oma's place and happened to hear Cardi call Oma mom, and he stopped for a minute and asked Oma if Cardi just actually called her mother, and Oma said she was her mother, and Jude asked if she stormed out of the house because his father was Cardi's father. Oma explained how her mother, Katrina, who she named Cardi after, was a cleaner employee of Jude's father's company, and how she desperately went to Jude's father to help her with the hospital bill because her mother was dying in the hospital. Jude's father agreed to help her, but on the condition that she sleeps with him, which Oma immediately disagreed and went out to look for other means. She couldn't find any other means and no family member was ready to help her, so she came back to Jude's father to grant his wish for the money, but she was too late because when she got back to the hospital with the money, her mother has already passed away. Few weeks later, she noticed she was pregnant and she went to him to tell him, but he told her to abort it, and she also got thrown out from her auntie's house. Jude felt sorry for Oma and angry at his father after Oma told him everything, and he went home to confront his father. Sadie was happy to find out that she had a sister which she bonded with. Even though his father told him not to go on with the wedding because his wife-to-be daughter is his sister, he ignored his father and went after what he wants. He went to Oma and expressed how much he loved her and said he was still going to go on with the wedding with or without anyone's approval. Jude's father then went to Oma to apologize for how much he hurt her and how much pain he caused her. Few months later, Jude's father appreciated Cardi for being his daughter and gifted her a house for her birthday, and it can be seen as one big family. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Make sure to comment and let me know your view on the movie. Also make sure to subscribe, like, share to get more movie review from me. Bye.